All right, people, I'm here. Are you ready? I said, are you ready? Now that's more like it. That's more like it. I really like that. Yeah, I'm not really sure how to start this. This is my very first time as a stand-up, so bear with me, people. I'm Pete, and I'm 60 years old. That's funny, just by itself, ain't it? Well, I didn't think it was that funny. But not only am I 60 years old, I'm ugly too. I tell you about that one time when I went outside to look for the garbage truck. No garbage truck. I see a neighbor across the street, so I yelled to the neighbor. I said, "Hey, neighbor, you seen the garbage truck?" He looked me straight in the eye and said, "What? You fell off?" I gotta say, to my defense being ugly though, the little town I grew up in, Skärblacka, Sweden, they used to have a beauty contest every year. Nobody won. And, there was actually there was a woman that was so fucking ugly. She walked into the workshop. The fucking sawhorse walked out. Well, I did tell you this is my first stand-up, but it actually isn't. A couple of years back, my friend, who is a stand-up comedian, he told me he was going sick, so he needed a replacement. And I said, "Why are you telling me that?" And he said, "You are my replacement." So I thought to myself, I mean, what do you got to lose? Just give it your all, you know? So I was telling the story, and this lady in the front row, pregnant, she was laughing so hard she was lactating. Well, that wasn't the funny part though. The funny part was the guy next to her. He was lactose intolerant. All right, dude, it's not that funny, okay? So, being a foreigner in America brings on the next story. These three soldiers was on a mission. There was a Russian, an American, and a Chinese guy. And for some reason, they got an engine failure on the helicopter, and they landing right in the middle of fucking Africa, right in the jungle. So they land, they all survive. The American take the initiative, and he said, "Well, I'ma be the commander of offense," he said. "You," he said to the Russian guy, "you gonna be the commander of defense." Then he looked to the Chinese guy and said, "You gonna be the commander of supplies." Second he say supplies, the Chinese guy just take off running right into the jungle. Well, the other one just shrugged their heads and like, whatever. But the guy don't come back. A day pass, 2 days pass. Chinese guy is still missing. So the American looked to the Russian and he said, "We gotta go look for this guy. We don't know what's in this jungle. He might be in danger." So the Russian agree, they gotta go search for him. So they swap their way through the jungle with the machetes. About 10 feet into the jungle, Chinese guy jumps out and screams, "Supplies!" All right, all right. So we're gonna stay within the military. This guy, he's going down to the warehouse on the airbase, and he's looking for butter. He walks up to the clerk and he said, "I need some butter." Clerk said, "We don't have no butter. We might have some tomorrow." Okay, the guy said. He took off. Next day, he come back again. "I'm looking for butter." Clerk said, "Ain't got none." He keeps coming back. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Still no butter. On Friday, the clerk tell him, he said, "Hey, come with me here." And he leads him to the back. He said, "Do you see the box up there on the shelf?" And the guy said, "Yeah." He said, "What does it say on the box?" He said, "It says rice." "Very good," the clerk said. "Now take R away from rice. What do you get?" He said, "Ice." "Very good," the clerk said. "Now take F away from butter. What do you get?" The guy looked like a question mark and he said, "There is no F in butter." And the clerk said, "That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you." All right, so it's time for a dry joke. It's a dad joke. So the termite walk into a bar. He walks up to the bar and he said, "Is the bar tender?" Fucking hilarious, man. Fucking, I tell you're having more fun than I do. I hope the audience like it more than you do. Then we'll be all right. So my buddy tells me he has to go to a pre-ejaculation meeting. I said, "Okay." And he said, "Yeah, Pete," he said, "I'd never been to one before, so I didn't really know what to wear." I said, "Okay." He said, "So I came in my pants." This guy, this guy is cracking me up. He has too much fun. Too much fun. I just hope the audience have as much fun as we do. But anyhow, we all heard about the Mexican word of the day, right? So the Mexican word of the day is herpes. Mamacita bought a pizza. She gave Jose half the pizza, and she got herpes. All right, so yeah. All right. Calm down, calm down, calm down. It's gonna be all right. So today I'm sitting here and I'm actually getting big. I honestly maybe 5 French fries away from Rosie O'Donnell. So back in the day, I was actually real skinny. And I remember this like it was yesterday. It was probably in the early 80s. I caught a yeast infection. And my daddy, he called me quarter pounder with cheese. So there you have it, folks. Now you know I'm 60. I'm ugly. I used to be thin and start to get big. But I'm also smart. And I am very proud of myself to say so. I tell you what, last year I bought a puzzle. On the box, it clearly said in big letters 2 to 3 years. You know what? I finished that fucker in 3 months. It's always that one guy in the audience, huh? I'll be honest with you, there is only one guy in the audience. Anyhow, this show wouldn't be the same without a blonde joke. Hello, Karina. Well, this blonde was riding home this one night through a hailstorm. And her car got covered in dents. When she noticed this, she brought the car to the shop, and the shop owner noticed that she's blonde. So he figured he gonna pull her leg. So he tell her, he said, all you gotta do is just go home and blow in the tailpipe and all the dents will come out. So, said and done, the blonde drive home. She get down on her hands and knees in the driveway, start blowing in the tailpipe, but nothing. Now her blonde friend comes out and she said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "I got some dents on the car from the hailstorm last night, so I'm trying to blow the tailpipe to make them go out." "Well, duh," the blonde said. "You gotta roll up your windows first." Like I said, I consider myself pretty smart. The other day I found a book in the bookstore called How to Solve 50% of Your Problems. So, I just bought two. And I was... Can you stop that shit? You're annoying, dude. Well, I was actually going to tell a joke about boxing, but I forgot the punchline. So I guess instead I'm going to ask you, do you know how you can tell Mike Tyson don't like religious people? Because he punched him in the face. Well, I tell you what, doing a comedy show for the first time ever, I actually give praise to those guys who get up on stage. I know they not on for a half hour, but say they on there for 15 minutes. It takes quite a bit to do a 15-minute show. We are about to pass 14 minutes, and I'm still trying to figure out what to do for the rest of the show. So, to all you stand up comedians out there, thumbs up, you're doing a great job, and I adore you. Next story comes from a guy. This happened maybe 20 years ago. He's sitting quietly in his living room reading his book. And there's a knock on the door. So he go answering the door and nobody's there. He looks down and he see a snail sitting on the porch. He pick up the snail and threw it as far as he can. Well, 3 years pass. The guy is still reading his book and he hear another knock on the door. He goes open the door. Nobody there. He look down. That same snail is sitting on the porch. Snail looked him in the eye and said, "What the hell was that all about?" You crack me up, dude. I love you, man. What's your name? No name, huh? Anyhow, we're gonna go back to Sweden where I was born and raised. I used to have a stuttering friend over there. And I guess we can call him John because he was always tired. Ended up being a sad story because the boy actually died in prison. He didn't even finish his sentence. Like I said, I'm pretty damn smart, dude. I can always tell when someone's lying, right? I can even tell when they're standing. Like I said, I never pretend to be a true stand up comedian. I am just here to make you laugh, and I hope I do. So, when I was 12 years old, I got my teeth knocked out by a hockey club. That was not funny. But it made me realize, do you know what time it is when you have to go to the dentist? 2:30. Yeah, that's funny. So let's move to the beach. The lifeguards doing a hell of a job. But do you know why the lifeguard never saved the hippie? Too far out, man. So, so, yeah, yeah. So we are on Ragebreed Radio, right? We are surrounded by music and musicians. And I once knew a band called 999 Megabytes. But you know what? They have still haven't got a gig yet. So back to the 70s and my favorite cartoon of all times, Scooby Doo. Well, you all know about the mystery van. So what if they drive and get a flat? Who fixed the flat? Scooby Doo. So being a music lover, there is two windmills out in the field. And the one asked the other, he said, so what kind of music do you like? And he says, I'm a big metal fan. So another true story and sad story. This old man is laying on his deathbed, reflecting on his wonderful life and surrounded by family. He smelled his favorite cake being baked in the kitchen. He tell his son, he said, please, go get a cake from your mom. It will be a perfect final memory. The son leaves for a moment, come back empty-handed. He tell his dad, he said, sorry dude, this is for the wake. So we all know the gas price has been skyrocketing lately. So true story, I went to the gas station and this guy in front of me, he walks up to the clerk and he said, $1 gas on pump number 2. I couldn't hold myself. I looked at the guy and said, where the fuck you going? Pump number 3? All right, people. I know this was my first try at stand-up comedy, and I hope I made you laugh at least one time. And before I go, I want to, of course, thank the guy in the audience. He's hilarious. But I also want to thank you for tuning in. I'll see you again next week.